Welcome to the Atomic Real Estate Show, Philadelphia's #1 real estate podcast and a Direct Subs production. Real estate investing is not rocket science, and on our show, we'll delve into best practices with a focus on the small things that add up over time. Please enjoy the authentic, informative, and actionable show with our host, Paul Jagelski.
Hello and welcome to the Atomic Real Estate Show, a podcast dedicated to exploring the world of real estate investing in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Whether you're a seasoned investor or just getting started in the industry, this show is for you. Join us as we dive into the latest trends and insights in the Philadelphia real estate market and hear from expert guests who share their knowledge and experiences investing in this dynamic city. This show is brought to you by Direct Subs. Please check them out at directsubs.com, focusing on building connections and for investors and contractors throughout the greater Philadelphia area. The Atomic Real Estate Show is your go-to resource for all things real estate in Philadelphia. I'm Paul Jagelski, your host. Now sit back, relax, and let's explore the atomic world of real estate together. Today, our guest is Ali. She is the Director of Operations for Sunflower Creations. Welcome, Ali. Thank you for joining us, and please introduce yourself in Sunflower Creations.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so thrilled to be here. I'm Ali Kutner. As Paul said, I'm the Director of Operations for Sunflower Creations. We're a full-service home staging company for Philadelphia, surrounding suburbs, Jersey. Basically, we'll go anywhere. We do vacant home staging, occupied home staging, consultation, you name it, we do it.
I love it.
Anywhere.
I love it. So you introduced me to a new staging aspect, which was the home living staging.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me a little bit about it because that fascinated me.
Okay.
As agents, we'll go in and kind of give our little recommendations,
Mm-hmm.
but to actually have a stager do what you described is awesome. So please.
Yeah, and actually, occupied home staging is something that everybody can benefit from. A lot of times when you're dealing with a seller who's been in their home for a number of years, you know, they're not in the business of selling homes like the builders are. They live there, they're emotionally attached to it, and they just can't imagine how anybody would not fall in love with their home because it's theirs. So a lot of times, sometimes agents will call us in just to be the middleman and tell their clients that their stuff's gotta go. And we're very diplomatic. I'm happy to do that. But a lot of times, it really is a matter of decluttering, depersonalizing, taking down personal photos, kind of reconfiguring and kind of getting a fresh take on each room of the home to help it show its best, show function, show size, show all those things that people are going to be looking for when they're coming in to buy a home. And also helping potential buyers be able to sort of see themselves living in the home as opposed to feeling like they're creeping through somebody else's territory when they're there. So we'll come in, basically set up like an hour-long consultation or something like that and just walk through with the homeowner. Sometimes the realtor is there, sometimes not, and kind of give them ideas. Like some people are willing to spend money, they want to paint, they want to, do upgrades in their kitchens or bathrooms, things like that, so we can give advice on tile selections, fixtures, things of that nature. Sometimes it's more of a matter of like, how do we show this home when we're living in it? Like we've got 3 kids under the age of 7, or, we've got 3 pit bulls. Like, how do we do this? So we'll help people kind of formulate a plan so that it makes their life easier, not harder.
That's a key point.
Yeah.
And it's so true on the fact that you can actually guide somebody who's been living there. Because as you say, somebody with 3 dogs doesn't think 3 dogs is a problem.
Right.
Somebody who's allergic to dogs, somebody who's afraid of dogs, somebody who just isn't familiar with dogs could be a huge problem.
Right. Or even like, well, what do we do if we get a showing and we have a half an hour's notice to get out of the house and like, obviously we're taking the dogs with us, but like, what about all their stuff? What about the kids' toys? Like, how are we always prepared?
That's so cool. So you really give them like a game plan of like, Evacuate.
Yeah. Yes, you've got 5 minutes. Go.
Don't forget to lock the doors.
Exactly.
No,
And
awesome.
another interesting thing to think about is just somebody that's lived in their home for 30 years. The whole process was so different when they bought that home. So they're like, I don't understand. Like, why would I move my stuff out and bring somebody else's stuff in? Or like, when I bought this home, there was no furniture in it. So like, why would it? But like, it's an entirely different process now because of the internet. And, there was no realtor.com back then. Like, you would call a number in a newspaper and say, can I come look at your house? So,
And chances are that was the first time they're seeing it. Now, you've seen that house 3 to 5 times almost by the internet, the Zillow, the pictures, the drive-by, talking to neighbors, or anything else that you could possibly. And to the point where now public records can tell you owners' names, and you can see who's living there, and you can look them up on Facebook, and you get so much information compared to even 10 years ago.
Exactly.
But yeah, the process is much different.
Yeah.
And that's, again, one of the reasons why I like bringing somebody like yourself in, because you've seen how many hundreds per year. So you're up with the trends. You know what's going on in the market. You're not going to give this sideways advice that, 3 months ago I did this back here and it worked. No, this was last week and it worked, and this was 2 days ago and it worked.
Yes. And it works over and over and over again.
One of the cool things, so I got to see kind of staging behind the scenes one day. I didn't realize all the detail that you ladies and gentlemen put into it. The measuring of walls for the size of couches that come in, the floor like mats that you put down, or rugs.
It's a lot. Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people just assume because they haven't seen the process, like we just show up and like wave a magic wand and the stuff gets there. But it's like, a day of planning, a day of preparations, like every single thing is picked by hand from the warehouse and wrapped and loaded and all of this stuff.
And then size. So as you said, it's trying to make a room look as big as possible with still furniture being inside of it. So it's not like you're picking an oversized TV or a very small TV. You're fitting that TV to that wall with the distance of the couch the way it's supposed to be. It's
Correct.
not just like a thrown together, throw the TV on that wall, put a couch over there, and throw down a throw rug. It all looks good, it all matches, and it brings that symmetry in and the
makes
flow of the room.
sense. Yeah, because like a small space, you really need to show functionality, show people how to like watch TV, eat, work, sleep, all the things. And big spaces are just as hard because people are like, I don't understand, there's no walls, where do I put anything?
Yep.
So.
And I tell my clients, if there's ever a cost that you not only get back, in fact, you probably double, almost triple what you put into it, and it's staging.
Yeah.
From the painting, like you mentioned, to the furniture that goes in, to the decluttering out of it.
All of it. And it's like the quickest turnaround, I mean, we stage it, the photos are sometimes 2 hours later. Hopefully you have offers within the next 3 days, like you get that money back immediately.
Yeah, and it's, as I say, the value for it is just so great. I know as a buyer's agent, you walk through a vacant home and they're trying to put a couch here or a TV there, and then it gets so confusing to them. They just kind of go, it's not our space. We don't really like it.
Right.
Where in reality, we've been looking at 5 houses just like this one.
Right.
This is the one.
Exactly.
This just doesn't have the furniture in it that made it look the way you wanted it to look the previous time.
And also, there's nothing to focus on except what's wrong with the house. I think like when you're buying a house, you feel like you're like the detective, like you have to go in and figure out what's wrong with it. Like there's definitely something wrong with it.
Every house has something wrong with it.
Right,
no
but
house
it's like
perfect.
You notice every little thing.
Yes.
I know when I bought my last house, like when I did the final walkthrough before settlement, and it had been owner occupied, and once they moved out, I was just like, I don't think this is the same house. Like I did not remember seeing that hole in the wall or things like that.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy, as you say.
Yeah, so not that we're trying to cover things up, but, we want to accentuate the positive.
Sensitive.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Every house is going to have issues.
Yes.
Every house is going to have something that you're going to have to invest some kind of money in, if it's outlets or if it's a roof or if it's anything in between those, the costs.
100%.
But, as you say, staging's there to accentuate the space.
Yeah.
Hey, every house is going to have the problems. Let's overlook these for now, and let's look at, is this the right space for our family?
Right.
And this is going to work for us going forward.
Yeah, and sometimes it's even like, a fixer-upper where it's debatable whether, you'd really want to move in and then do work overtime, but like it can show that, yeah, we could live here for a year and, do some things over time.
Yep. And I will tell you, as a buyer's agent, that's what I tell most of my clients when they buy a new house. Listen, live in it as long as you can before you touch it.
Mm-hmm.
The more you can get used to that space, the more you'll know what you actually want.
Right.
I can't tell you how many clients have sat there, ooh, move in, we'll do the kitchen before we even move in.
Right.
Do the kitchen. They move in 6 months later, like, oh, I wish I did it this way, or the refrigerator was there.
Yeah.
Or the island was the long way rather than the horizontal way.
Yes.
And if you could just live there for a year, 2 years. I know construction sucks living there, but understand your space.
Right. See what rooms you gravitate to, think about why, and, all those things.
And to me, the space is so personalized that you guys do such a great job of depersonalizing it, but yet personalizing at the same time. You have the photos on the wall, but as you said, they're not photos. You have the TV, but it's not turned on to sports or anything like that. You have the flowers, but they're not overly bouqueted and overly huge. It's a nice little setup.
Yeah.
Everything is there for a purpose and for a reason.
Yes.
And it just makes a space flow so much nicer.
Yeah. And it's funny, like, sometimes I need to dial it back because, like, my style is not necessarily staging style. Like, I like color, I like vintage, like, my house looks like, just a conglomeration, but, like, that's, and I walk into houses where people have that style, and I'm like, look, I love your taste, but, like, people aren't going to get it.
Majority.
Yeah.
And that's huge. The fact that you could be able to do that, and that is, to separate those two things is so fascinating to me, because most people, one, can't.
Right.
And they can't see that they see something differently than other people.
Yeah.
And then to be able to deneutralize it.
Yeah.
And sit there and go, all right.
Yeah. Like,
take this down now. Do I need the deck of cards on that? No, we can get away with just the books. But it makes a huge difference, especially for photos.
Yeah, no, it totally does. They tell people, like, anything smaller than a fist, like tchotchkes, pack away, because it's just like visual chaos when you look at photos. And and they're like, well, people aren't looking at that stuff, but they are. They don't even realize it, but they are. Collections, figurines, Jesus, dolls, put away dolls.
Put them away,
no dolls.
Backwards in the closet, so that when we open the closet, I'm not being looked at by 20 different dolls.
Yep.
I've had that, by the way.
Oh my God.
That's why I said put them backwards. I've also had the doll sitting in the rocking chair in the attic. That was I swear, on purpose.
That sounds like on purpose.
Yeah, it was creepy too. You poked your head in there, like, yep, nope. But no, that's great advice. Anything smaller than a fist.
Yeah, good rule of thumb. Yeah.
I like that one.
And I might have mentioned storage ottomans, lifesaver. I actually do that just for my, like, in my own house to keep things organized, like a storage ottoman or like a decorative basket, like that boho style that's really in right now with the just so you can like throw everything into a basket, it's out of the way, and it looks
blankets and all that
exactly.
Kind of yeah. I like it.
Shove a pillow on top of it and looks intentional.
What colors are trending right now?
Right now we're doing a lot. Well, it really depends on the property type, but I mean, in the city, there's a lot of that like boho with the terracottas and a lot of greenery, which, I mean, those are just great colors for staging because it gives a pop, but it feels very natural, and, it blends well with everything. So a lot of that. We're always looking at the finishes, mainly like for the kitchens. Like, are you doing the matte black? Because we want to make sure our finishes are matching your finishes. So we're seeing a lot of the matte black, a lot of the, bronze and golds, and I mean, nickel never goes away. Like, it never goes out of style. It still looks good.
I feel like the 80s are almost coming back with the black and gold.
Yeah, but in like a new
Much
kind of way.
Trust me, because the house that I bought when we moved in was black and gold.
Like 80s bad, not 80s
God.
good.
Plaid, I mean, every color of gold, every machine. It was straight out of it. But now it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily my personal style. I like white gold over silver.
Okay.
Over gold.
Whose style was it? Somebody picked it.
There was the previous owners.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
okay.
all their blinds are now gone, all their chairs are now gone, and
Yeah.
we're working on trying to figure out how to redo the kitchen because it's that pine with the black.
Okay.
So it's the light tans, but it's the old cabinets. They're starting to peel off and all that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. You know, that's a couple other things that we do sometimes recommend for staging, like changing out fixtures on cabinets is like an easy thing that you can do. Doesn't cost a lot of money. You can usually do it yourself. Yes, makes a huge difference. Even like pendant lights, chandeliers.
Okay.
Actually, as far as chandeliers go, I usually tell people to just cap the chandelier because honestly, so many people, like, you want to show a dining area, but so many people eat like in the living room anymore that like having a chandelier really dictates where the table is going to go, and it's just not even necessary. Like if you have a table and chairs there, that's sufficient, but builders, you could skip the chandeliers.
Yeah. I personally, in my rentals, have been taking the dining rooms out, putting recessed lights over that area.
Yeah.
So 4, capping the overall out of it. So the center's done, but now it's 4. And I turn it into an office space for them.
Yeah.
I put extra cabinets in there, extra countertop in there, extra outlets in there.
Yeah.
And if they want to eat at it, they can eat at it. If they want to have a coffee nook, they can coffee nook it. If they want a business table, they can have a business table. Because nobody is using the dining space anymore.
They're not. I mean, I think like for selling, it's useful to show it because like when people are looking at houses, they're kind of like envisioning their best life and they're like, I'm going to eat at the table, a gourmet meal every night with a cloth napkin, you know? And then, like, they move in there and it becomes, like, a laundry folding table, just, like...
Or just push off the side of the table there.
Yeah,
And then you're getting the clients now that are, or the homeowners, I should say, that they're putting in the island to eat at with the extra storage. So they're not even using the table, but it's off-centered, so now that chandelier is...
Exactly, it's just there. Plus, I think it's something that is kind of personal, like... I think people would want to pick that, and then they pick it, and then they feel like they've designed the space. So.
And it's so personal.
Yeah.
You're hanging versus my 3 candle type.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, very very personal out of it.
Yeah.
I almost feel like refrigerators are getting to that personal space. It's so freaking. You can have this. You can have that. You can have this little attachment. You can have that. I just listed a house and they did not have the greatest refrigerator. It was the basic refrigerator. And I was like, we'll put that down in the basement. And they asked me, what do you want to put upstairs?
Upstairs?
Well, in the kitchen.
Oh,
I was I don't know. Do we want a water line? No water line. Ice maker? No ice maker. French doors? Regular doors. Tall, skinny. But and we were like, nope, never mind.
Yeah.
New buyers can bring in their own fridge because it's so personalized now.
Yeah.
And again, going back to what you do, that's what I love that you guys can do. You can make it a personal space, but it hits the masses. And you can make a house flow, even if it's a different layout than a normal house. Just the way you're setting things up and the colors that go with it flow. It's not like it's this room, that room, here. It's all coordinated.
Well, here's a little trick that works to our benefit too, because if we set up a house and like maybe we're a couple pieces of art short in the living room, but we could like deal with one less in the bedroom, well, like now everything matches. So, little trade secret.
I like that. So how many bedroom, office, living room, kitchen I'm not really too worried about, but how many of those sets do you guys actually have on hand at any given time?
Oh my gosh. We have about 10,000 square feet of warehouse space, and I think we have about 150 homes staged right at this very moment.
150?
Yeah. So, probably about 400 beds. Because some homes have more than one bed in them. Yeah, I mean, it's craziness. We have like sofas stacked 30 feet up into the ceiling.
Like a Raymond Flanagan.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's quite a sight to see.
That is so cool. Now, do you guys sell off any of your stuff every couple of years?
Occasionally we do. Yeah, so we just did like a huge furniture purge like in the last 2 years, I would say. Like we basically gutted about 3/4 of our inventory.
Dang.
And replaced it with all new. So like now we're kind of in a steady roll where we're like just continually like eliminating, bringing in new, because you have to stay current with the styles and the colors and all of those things. The stuff it gets dinged because it's moving in and out of a lot of houses like constant. So so we'll donate stuff. This past winter we did a warehouse sale where people just came down and got some really good deals. Occasionally people will, like buyers will actually want to purchase the furniture.
Really?
So,
That's an option.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like our primary goal,
Yeah.
but if somebody is interested, absolutely, we can
I
either
guess
sell
that's
them
how
what's
people
there
work
or
is-
source it for them. Yeah.
Yeah, open houses, people are always like, oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
love this room, where did you get it? I'm like, I called the designer.
Yeah, our cards are there. You can always pick up and give a
I do
give a
love
call.
that. You guys do a great job hiding your little cards all the way around.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you sit there like, ooh, that's a card holder. And you don't notice it.
I thought that was a candy dish.
Exactly. I thought it was a soap dish, and there's cards in there. You're like, oh, that's awesome.
That's so funny that you noticed that. Or you were talking about like the like not having family photos and stuff. We'll do like the Sunflower Creations picture frame.
Yes. It's like a whole little kind of like setup out of it, where again it fits the whole area.
Yeah.
And then you kind of walk over. You're like, they're advertising.
Yeah.
Good for them.
And that's where most of our business comes from. Like we've never really done paid advertising.
I believe it.
And even, I mean, we are active on Instagram and like social media and stuff like that, but the majority of our business has always just been word of mouth. So picking up those cards.
Yeah, they love it. Any QR codes out there for them to start scanning?
I think so. Is there one? No, we don't have one on our card, but
I know that's just things that like all the scammers are stealing QR codes from us. But I was a big QR for.
Were you?
Yeah. I tried to do everything I possibly could for QR codes, and then once the whole scamming thing started, But yeah, you hide that in there real well. It fits all your designs. It's not like a typical advertisement where it's just there and you're like, what? Oh man.
We want to make it blend.
Yeah.
Classy.
But I think that's what people pick up on. Is everything's moving so well. That's why they would want to bring you in, because you have taste. You have an idea for spaces. And going back to just the overall being able to set up the rooms, I've never seen one of your places staged twice. Like there's never a room that's ever been the same.
Like a complete repeat. No,
Never.
and you know what? Like
There might be a couch that I've seen before.
Yeah.
Might be a bedspread that I saw before, but it didn't go with that end table or that photo and that room and the brightness out of it or the colors. Like, I don't know. The way you guys can accentuate a room for sun or for the color scheme that's going on in it, like it amazes me.
Thank you. It's fun for us. Like everyone on our team like loves what they do. I mean, like every single person that works for us at one point or another has been like, I can't believe this is my job. And like, I mean, it's not there's more to it than like just arranging things and color coordination. Like you go home at the end of the day after you've been in a property all day and you feel grimy and beaten and just like exhausted. But I mean, I think that like half the fun of it is getting to like pick all the things and sort of like envision. And it's like, it kind of goes down the lane. So like I'll go and meet with the client initially and do the walkthrough. So like I'm the one that's seen the space.
Dang.
I take pictures, then I'll pick the furniture because like I've seen the space, so that's the most efficient way to do it. Then it gets handed down to somebody else who's in the warehouse, and she's gonna pull all of the colors together and like make all of those other design decisions, what accessories, what artwork, and all that stuff, kind of based on like my notes and sort of based on these pictures. And then sometimes it's somebody else that's actually going to arrive at the property and do the setup. So it's like everybody really does get a hand in it. So
cool.
You know.
You do all the consultations out there?
I have up until recently, and now I have
150 staged houses right now. You
yeah,
all
well,
those?
I mean, it's a full-time job. yeah.
That's awesome, though. So you got to see every single one of those spaces.
For the most part, yeah.
That's so cool.
Me and Janae were like just all day long. Houses, more houses.
That's
and
awesome, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you literally are seeing the trends as they're going. I mean, you kind of create the trends at that rate.
I like to think we do.
Yeah, I don't like black and gold. We're bringing in blue and white. Yeah, we're going Penn State colors here. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool out of it. And then, I mean, so again, going back to your brain, being able to just kind of declutter and know how to work a space. So how did you get that? Like, how did that skill come about into your life?
So I don't think anybody arrives in home staging because they like set out to do it from birth, but like every one of us on our team is sort of like, I have this creative and then this other thing that I used to do. And I was in a completely different field and was not real happy and decided I wanted to be an interior designer or in interior decorating or something like that. Started taking some classes at Moore and then took on an assistantship with an interior designer. And after like 2 weeks, I was just like, wow, this job is not what I thought it was at all. It's just like, you go in these houses and you're showing them fabric and they hate it, but they don't know why. And so now you're at the design center again, picking new fabric. You know, it's just like never ending. And it's a lot of just like project management, coordinating with contractors, which is kind of actually what I do now, but I like it at this point.
You're in more control of it.
Yeah, but I was just like, and then I don't know, it just seemed so like interior design, at least where I was, you know, I mean, I think every firm has a different culture, but it was kind of like, it felt a little beyond me at the time. Like, you know, we're discussing like the shapes of the ice cubes that are going to come out of the ice dispenser. And I'm like, there's people that can't afford groceries. So like, you know, I don't know.
Bigger purpose.
Yeah, but whatever. I shouldn't say that. But so anyway, I was like, well, this kind of sucks. Like, I quit my job and now I don't like the new one. And I still wanted to do something creative. And then I came across this listing for somebody that needed help with home staging. And I like didn't know what that was and nobody knew what that was. But so that's kind of how I got into that. That was years ago with a different company that's no longer operating. But yeah, that's how I got there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, everybody needs to feel that purpose. It doesn't matter what it is. Somebody's purpose might be figuring out the ice cubes that work best for that person's house.
Yes.
For you, that just wasn't it.
Yeah.
You know, I worked in hospitals for many years. That was a great purpose. It was a purpose that I realized I could not make a big enough difference out of. I found real estate, and that was something that I felt I could give housing to. I could help people. I could give back. We allowed dogs. That was a better purpose for me.
Yeah.
I worked in that service industry, and working a full service, and I mean like literally whatever the client wants industry is so hard. And you're still in a service industry, but you have a lot more control in this versus somebody saying, I don't like that red fabric. Why? I don't know. I just don't like it.
Right.
Well, I can't help you.
Right.
Is it the texture? Is it the color? Is it the print? Is it the matness? Is it the fit? Like, there's so many different things that could be different here. I don't even know where to start with you. So yes, I get it. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why this podcast came around, was to help the purpose, help people in Philadelphia just network a little bit better.
Yes.
You know, there's all these national podcasts, there's all these national things, and they kind of skip over Philadelphia. They just don't give us that love. And there's so many great people and great companies out here that we just want to help highlight and help their business. And yeah, that's how this came about, and we're so happy to have you on here because this is fantastic. I mean,
Thank
to
you.
hear this kind of stuff, is awesome. Like it's a mom and pop shop that built up to 150 homes being staged at one point, right?
Totally. And like it's cool because I've been there through most of it. So like when I first started, we were doing like, I remember having a conversation with my former boss who had started the company, and we were joking around, like it was just me and her, and I was like, oh yeah, like when we're doing like 5 stagings a week, I might need some help. And she's like, 5 stagings a week, like that's gonna be crazy, you know? And now it's like sometimes we do 4 in a day. But you know,
all the different processes in that time.
Yeah. So it's cool to see. It really is.
Do you use any software to stay organized, or?
We do. We have an inventory management program. So, you know, like all of the main furniture is like available in this system, so that like I can actually choose furniture like while I'm lying in bed at home. I don't actually have to go to the warehouse, and then like we can, like multiple people can be, you know, moving inventory around at the same time. So we know like exactly what will be going to each job. And then we use Monday.com for like our employee communications, and yeah.
One centralized calendar for everybody?
Yeah, pretty much. Like it's helpful. Are you familiar with that program?
Sort of.
Okay, so like Janae, who's like our also tech genius, she's like our everything genius, but like she I know, me neither. Like as soon as she like a tech word comes up, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like
as I sit here with cameras and a computer, but I have no idea what any of this stuff does.
I'm still like pen and paper, and like nobody else likes that, but like it's the only way I can do a walkthrough. But yeah, I mean, so like when a job enters the system, like once we go and set the appointment to go look at it, like we can put it into the system. I can put the pictures in there. We can put like everything, the location, the coordinates, the lockbox information, the, you know, any notes, or, and then like assign it down the pike so everybody can see what's happening with it at all times.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
How big is your overall team?
We have, well, it's me, Janae, Maria's our warehouse manager, and then we have Donna, Stephanie, and Pierrette are our stagers. Bart is my boss, and he's like everywhere that you need him to be whenever you need him to be. And then we've got our movers.
Wow, so right around like a dozen.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
150 homes. I can't believe that is such a crazy number. Because like I look at the market, I'm like, there's only like 400 homes on the market. And you have 150 homes.
150
and people live in 200 of the other ones. So yeah, I mean
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, like that's where my head's going out of it. And it's in what areas do you cover?
Our main work has always been in Center City area. It's always traditionally been a lot in South Philly. Right now, like that market, for whatever reason, just doesn't seem to be as present. Like I don't think there's as much inventory and you know, all that kind of stuff. But Center City, we're doing a lot in Rittenhouse. Like right now, we're doing a lot with the luxury market. So, you know, like the multi-million-dollar condos and things like that.
That's good. Philly needs those people coming
back
in.
Yeah.
They need them coming in.
Yeah, we do a lot in Northwest, Roxborough. I live in Roxborough, so I love when we get to work in Roxborough. But Manayunk, you know, Mount Airy, Chestnut Hill, all those neighborhoods. And now we're doing a lot out in the burbs. Like we've been in Delaware County, like I think 3 times last week. Newtown Square seems to be a lot going on. I think so, yeah. That's another interesting trend just that I've noticed over the span of time that I've been doing this is like, you know, like I said, in the beginning, nobody knew what staging was. And I think because there's so much new construction in Philly at any given time, the builders started doing it. And then over the course of time, like, well, now you've got newer construction that's competing with new construction. So like now they're doing it, and like it is trickling out to the suburbs now.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
And as we mentioned, it's well worth your value out of it.
100%. It's upping the sale prices. You know, it helps the home sell faster. It's unusual if we stage a house and it doesn't sell within 30 days.
Nope.
You know, at least go under contract.
And no offense to all the agents out there, including myself, if it doesn't sell in that first 30 days right now in this market, it's price. Staging can do all it wants, but it's still just price, and that comes down to it, and that's fine. To me, I will say, you can take a house that's worth, we'll throw out a number, say 350. Unstaged, maybe you can get that 350. It might come in a little bit lower. You stage it, you might get 365.
Yeah.
Almost 370.
Yeah. I might have mentioned this one, but I gotta drop this one as many times as possible. We did one a couple weeks ago in Villanova, and it was like an estate situation. They did do a lot of work to the property after the estate was settled, and then we staged it. They listed it at $650 and got 17 offers the first weekend, and it sold for $800,000. And that, every house should be that story, but that is a testament.
And so they did it right? They put a little work into it to uplift it, get a little facelift, make it update, and then they literally allowed you to come in and say, look, it's still beautiful.
Yes.
This home has character, it has a presence, it deserves to be in this neighborhood, and clearly 17 people thought so too.
And it's the marketing, it's like you can have the best product known to man, but if nobody knows about it, you're not going to sell a lot. So like, you can have the greatest house, but you have one shot to make a first impression. That if people are looking for houses, they're obsessed with looking for houses. So the second that house hits the MLS, they're on it, so you've got one chance. 5 photos. Yes, you've got one chance for them to be like, I want to see it or I don't. So the more people you can get in there, the better it's going to go.
I'm sure this would be music to your ears. I love when I'm working like an open house or something along those lines, and you hear people come in, ooh, that's this room.
Yeah.
I saw that picture. I was wondering how they, and I was like, yeah. Because the staging, yet again, brings in they saw something small and they wanted to see more.
Yeah, and they're studying those pictures. Think about like, people are laying in bed in their PJs and they're scrolling through their little 1 inch by 1 inch thumbnails, and like, they don't even realize it, but the ones that aren't interesting, that don't have colors and shapes, they just, that one.
Or they sit there, no, never fit in my space. Yeah. No, king bed can't fit in there. Meanwhile, it's like a 20 by 20 room. It just didn't realize that a king bed could more than fit into that room. Yeah. To me, as I say, staging is dollar for dollar, weight for weight, the best thing you could possibly do for your listing. There are the occasions where, yes, staging is probably not needed or wanted because it's not in the condition that it should be in. Yeah. But to me, even those highlight a room or two, show that there is potential, because the whole house can't be that bad.
100%.
Show the kitchen's still functional. You might have to fix up the living room.
Right.
But stage it. And get somebody else's eyes and opinion into that space.
And I've never been in a house that I've been called out to look at for work that I couldn't find some way that we could elevate the listing. And you were saying earlier about like helping and starting this podcast because it's a way that you feel that you can give back, and like I honestly do feel that way. Like my job now primarily is sales because that's what I'm doing all day, but like I'm not a salesperson. Like, I've done sales jobs in the past and I'm terrible at it because I don't like to be sold to. I don't like feeling like somebody's just trying to get me to sign on the dotted line real quick, But honestly, I do think of it as like, how can we help you? Yeah. And that's what we want to do.
I love the feeling when I have a seller and they sit there and go, yeah, my house is worth $300. And I'm like, I think we can get a little bit more. Let's bring somebody in. Let's get their opinion. And then the stager comes in and they'll sit there and give their opinion out of it. If we stage this, we can paint this and that, and we can raise your value. You'll put about $15,000 in, but we can raise the value about $45,000. And the faces are just going, I can make money by putting things into it. Oh my gosh, this is like, that's what real estate is. Put money into it, you can make money off of it.
Yes, and especially with Compass, they have the concierge program.
Thank you for dropping that for me.
Absolutely. We love working with Compass Concierge because Compass believes in staging so firmly that they will front the money. They want properties staged because they know that it's going to help the sale at the end.
Between painting and staging, you can't go wrong with those two things.
Yes.
And then another one I want to bring up that we started talking about earlier was landscaping.
Landscaping, yes.
Do you guys give any advice for landscaping? Because that is becoming huge right now, outdoor space.
It is. So, I mean, we've expanded our outdoor furniture for like roof decks, patios, which is now a huge part of staging. It used to be like, we could throw a bistro set out here. Now it's like outdoor sofas and like rug, the whole nine, because outdoor space is part of the house anymore. So we've seen a lot in terms of that. In terms of landscaping, we don't actually do the landscaping.
Yep.
I will look at the curb appeal, like when I pull up to the property, give recommendations for like front door color, because that front door color that needs to pop. And also, just general landscaping feedback. I feel in most cases it's a good idea to keep it simple. So have a professional come in and come up with a plan. Like they'll be able to create something that is simple to maintain, because you're selling a home, you're packing, you're worrying about the inside of the home, getting it ready for showings. Maybe you're not living there at all. You don't want something that, if it doesn't rain for a couple weeks like we experienced, or if it rains every minute for a couple weeks, that it's going to be a problem. So, some evergreens or like some hardy succulents or whatever, I don't know, stuff that'll look good and fresh and clean and not need a lot of maintenance.
So you are seeing more outdoor space though?
Totally, yes.
Wow. And then you said not just the suburbs, that was the decks and the rooftops?
Everywhere, especially like even the smaller like South Philly row homes, that if there's like any patio space outside, it's like that, it's a whole nother room, like it could be the size of the living room, so show it as an outdoor living room because people want to be outside. And
I lived in Florida for about 4 years. That was my dream, to live down there, stay down there, all of that. But we're back anyway. But the weather, like to me, I'm outdoor. I once this starts turning above 65 degrees, 67 degrees, I'm found outside. Like that is just where I like to be. That's where I want to be. The vitamin D, please bring it on.
Yes.
So, I love outdoor spaces. I'm currently going through my backyard trying to figure out, like, what can I kid stuff over here, fire pit over there.
And you're creating rooms outside,
Yes.
like designated areas with specific functions.
I'm quite literally bringing in 15 yards of dirt to try and level out part of my yard just to create more space out of it. Because the outdoor space, to me, is just, I'm finding more value in it.
It's huge.
More and more value.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just COVID. To me, it's back in the old days,
I know.
I'm 38 years old.
I remember older days than you.
We used to ride our bikes to our friends' houses and have to knock on doors to figure out if somebody was playing. And nowadays, the play dates are like, all right, everybody has to come, the whole family's coming. There's no more just like let the kids go. So we're trying to find that space that works for everybody.
Yeah.
Kids can go play over there. Adults can have their time over here. We can still see each other.
Yes.
So yeah, that's really cool that you're seeing outdoor space coming in.
Yeah.
I love outdoor space.
It's cool. We actually just recently did one in Margate, which that's a little bit, that's like a little unusual that we get to go that far, but
that's a good hike for you guys.
But but it was like definitely worth it just to like spend a day staging at the beach,
Yeah.
But the outdoor space down there, they're like, that's all we care about, like that will make or break the whole entire thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, everything else is basically just bedrooms after that anyway.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then a huge living room.
Yeah.
So you go down to Margate, huh?
Yeah, all over. We also just did one in Rose Valley. Are you familiar with that area?
I don't know where Rose Valley is.
I don't know where it is either. It's like Wallingford, near Media or Kennett Square out that direction. So it was cool. Like this was not our typical. It was a historic arts and crafts style home, and the entire, they wanted it to show as an arts and crafts style home. So like we were basically working with the pieces that were there, but I mean every single item in the home was antique, they could tell you who crafted it and like everything about it. Yay! Oh my god, I was like over the moon. Yeah, I mean we brought in like a couple of beige sofas that had like some tufting in them that kind of,
Tufting, I haven't heard that in a long time.
Well, it was like, we kind of wanted to push it more in the direction of contemporary just to connect with a buyer, but in a way where it wasn't super obvious. So a little bit, so cool. But that was a cool project. Yeah.
That's awesome. Any other fun ones you got going on right now?
They're all fun in their own way. Since, like, in the last couple of years with the market the way it is right now, like, every project has been way more unique. Like, it's not just replica of the last house, of, like the quick turnaround ones. Like, we've done some condos that require like a week's worth of planning and thought to go into it, like very specific spaces or just like specific circumstances. Like we're partially living here, we've done some Airbnb setups where, like, in that case we would actually be selling the furniture, but a lot of people are going that direction now.
That's really cool, actually.
Yeah, the beach one was like, well, now we need like beach art, so like they all kind of have a life of their own.
That's cool though, because it expands your inventory at the same time out of it.
Yeah. Now we just need to do some more of the beach, which is totally fine. Yeah.
Come on. Start calling.
We'll work in trade.
Yeah. Let me stay there for a week while I design your house, and we'll get it all set up.
Yep.
It has to be between the months of July and August.
Yeah.
So that's how you work that one, and double dip on that one.
Yeah.
The other nice thing, going back to kind of like the money part of it, it's not that expensive. Like, staging really is not a killer. Like, people see it, they're like, oh, I'll throw out a random number here, and I know it's not going to hit, every house is much different, but $2,500.
Mm-hmm.
What? No way, you can't be, I can go buy that. I'm like, you cannot go buy
100% you can't go buy it.
$2,500 worth of staging stuff and make it look this way.
Yeah, no.
You cannot do it. Please do not try to do it.
Here's a couple things with that. Number one, you absolutely can't buy all of that for $2,500, like nowhere near, because like, I mean, we go into like a Home Goods and it's like a whirlwind, but like, so much stuff, what looks like when it's like sitting in front of you, you spread it out over the house and you're like, where did it all go? With furniture, like there's the benefit of it's already assembled, because we've run into that with Airbnb where people are like, well, like, why does it cost so much? Well, because it's all going to come flat in boxes. It's going to take like 4 days to assemble an entire house full of furniture. Yeah. Then you have to figure out where to remove, like take all the trash and all that cardboard, because your trash men aren't really into that. Yeah. And it's time consuming. It's
never thought about that part.
Yeah. And then also, like, if you're selling the house, what are you going to do with all this stuff when the house sells? Now you've got to find a warehouse to store it, or a storage unit.
My biggest problem always is the personal comes back into it. They bring their personal thoughts back into it. I'm like, I know you really wanted that cookware, but that cookware was not a good stage item. Like, big crock pot off. Because that's always been my secret. Before I really fell into the staging part of it, I used to run around room to room.
And like do all the little stuff. Yeah.
All right, photographer, this is the plan. We're starting kitchen, dining room, living room. I've already decluttered kitchen and living room. Once you get those photos, you let me know, and I'm going to start moving everything back.
Right.
Then you can go over to those.
Yeah.
Or you can go to the basement, because the basement's not staged.
Yeah, no. Anytime you need us, like, we can come out, like, an hour or two before the photographer, just run through the house, do all that stuff, make your life easy.
Really are full service.
Yeah, anything you need. And if there's like an idea that we haven't thought of yet that's useful, we always want to hear that too.
I like it.
Yeah.
You guys work off a lockbox, I take it, too?
We do.
Yes. Sorry, one of my favorite questions.
Because
not that I hate meeting everybody, but sometimes I just can't meet everybody.
No, absolutely
sometimes
not.
I just got to give a lockbox code out.
No, I mean, if a day goes by that a lockbox code isn't wrong, or a key isn't missing, or something, then I don't feel like I've actually lived. So, please.
Oh, we could have a whole lockbox conversation. Which ones do you like? Which ones do you not like? Which ones work? Which ones don't?
Do you remember the Supra phase?
They're still out there.
Are they?
They're in the freaking suburbs.
Oh, that
They
was
drive me fucking nuts.
that was a nightmare.
At
for
least
like,
back in the day, you used to be able to steal your boss's Supra because they pay for it, right? And you could just take that little one key, everybody, and go around. Now it's all digitalized.
Oh, it is? Well, does that make it easier? Or
No, I can't steal anybody's.
Oh.
To have a Supra key now has to be on your phone.
Oh.
So I can't physically steal my boss's and just go over and unlock a door. You have to pay for the subscription to be able to get access to it.
Oh, that's annoying.
And I can't tell you how many times I've like made an appointment, didn't check the lockbox code when it came in, get to the appointment, and I'm like,
Great.
hey, agent, is there another key somewhere?
Where's the real lockbox?
Yeah, because yes,
Yeah, that was like, we didn't run into it that many times, but I know that every time we did, it was like some crazy ordeal to get in. Yeah. It was like a good idea that wasn't 100% thought out or...
I wish if they do right, they should have done it through showing time. Somehow paired with them so that I don't have to pay for the subscription, just unlock it.
Right.
You want to have the data by you can have the data, you can pay for your subscription. But don't force me to show your house and pay to show your house.
Right, yeah.
You know, like, I don't know. Yes.
Yeah.
Great idea. Done horribly wrong. And then horribly updated as well.
Supra is like the Betamax of real estate.
And then when I run into those like dial ones, I gotta think back to like the locker stages. Was it one left, two right? Back
yeah. Like back in high school.
Yeah, so please, ladies and gentlemen, let's do lock boxes with buttons. Makes life a lot easier for everybody else. But I mean, back to the overall staging out of it, there's 100% value out of it. You guys, again, from what you're saying, you can do a consultation out of it. You can do living space, come in and just consult them on it, or help them actually stage it. You can do vacant, you can do new construction, you can hybrid any one of those in there, and you're full service out of it. So one of the things I like you said, maybe you don't do landscaping, but you can give advice on it and recommend people.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's awesome out of it.
100%.
You know, and then the fact that you guys you personally are in these houses constantly, even if it's not all 150, say it's 95% of them, you're still seeing the trends. You're still up to date on what's going on. You're not just a face sitting behind, listening to reports or reading notes and making decisions. You're seeing it.
Yeah.
You're seeing what spaces are being opened up. You're seeing how kitchens are being laid out. And that right there, that value is unbelievable. I'm going to try and add a service to you. I don't know, maybe you'll do it.
I love it, yeah.
Can somebody call you if they bought a new house and they want not interior quote unquote necessarily, but staging designs?
Yes. So we do get into interior design, interior decorating on a very limited scale.
Okay.
And we love when people call and inquire about it. I will say there's like a very specific type of project that we are really equipped to take on. And we always want to make sure that if we are taking something on that we can like dedicate the attention that it deserves. So like I never want to take on something that sounds like it's going to be beyond what we're able to provide. Yeah. But 100%, like sometimes even our clients who we've done stagings for will want us to come to their new home and just help them with furniture arrangement or help them hang artwork, or, you know, maybe it's like, hey, I really like these colors. Can you like give us some updates with like bedding or accent pillows or things like that? 100%.
Okay.
And
I was just kind of going off your Airbnb part of that.
No.
Same kind of design, same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Especially if I bought the house that you staged.
Exactly.
Like, I would love to come back to you and be like, yo, how did you make this functional?
We actually had one of those, and that was a fun one. Last year, a couple bought a home in Fairmount, and they were buying it for the purpose of Airbnb-ing it, and they were going to, like, vacation here a couple months throughout the year and then Airbnb it the rest of the year. So they bought it completely staged, and then like over time, you know, they were just making some changes, like personal stuff that they wanted to do, but it worked out really well.
That's awesome.
And we're like, why don't we just
So
always do this stuff.
Semi-service to you.
Yeah. But anything, I mean, I think it's always good, like, we don't charge for our initial consultation, so I'm always happy to come out, and sometimes it's just, you know, giving suggestions and advice, and like, well, you really don't need us for anything beyond this, but, you know, sometimes, most of the time, there is some sort of value that we can add to the listing, so always have us out.
You ever leave cards behind for the buyers?
Yeah. Totally.
See, now we're getting on the same page. Like this. Because there's that last step. They come in, they've got a blank slate, and all of a sudden they're like, how did they do this?
Yeah. And
so that's awesome.
I'm told by some of our builders who have like returned to properties after they've sold them that the furniture is always arranged the way we set it up, which...
You maximize the space.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I think I have a funny story with... my ex-boyfriend, we had gone into a house and we were looking to buy a house, and the way the bedroom was set up, like the bed was on, you know, X wall, and when we moved in I was like, the bed should go on the other wall, and he's like, but it goes on that wall, and I'm like, but it could go on the other, but that doesn't make sense, it goes on that wall, and I was like, could you just let me do it? It's like what I do for a living. Like, can you just let me? And he was like, oh. I didn't think it would fit. So, you know, yeah, I mean, it is like a little subjective. Like, you could do whatever you want. Who's going to tell you you're wrong? But, yeah.
No, especially beds and bedrooms, because like the way our windows are set up in our bedroom, there's really only 2 walls that could be set up on. Mm-hmm. And then our previous owners put recessed reading lights in. So that's like a chandelier. That's going there. Going there. Because I can't have random reading lights over my bureau.
Yeah.
And that doesn't work. So yeah, we kind of got pigeonholed into that same kind of aspect out of it. But now that I've learned how to be handier, we're looking to take out the lights and switch it around.
Oh, are you gonna do it?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. It's just one of those or I might just add more lights or something along those lines. So it's symmetric somewhat.
You reminded me of something that I may have just forgotten again. I think it just slipped my mind. What I was going to say is that another thing to take into account for staging is like the photography. You know, like you want the room to also be arranged, maybe not the way you necessarily live in it, but I mean, you still want it to make sense, but think about like where is the photographer going to be standing and how to shoot the space.
Because lived-in homes, those photographers get very upset about how they have to try and take photos of certain areas.
Oh, like dangling from the ceiling fixture, or
just to be able to get the proper angle.
But I mean, it's like if he's standing in the doorway, you know, you want the room to look expansive from the doorway.
That's a great point. Little details, and they add up to a great business. Because as I say, to me, staging dollar for dollar. Well worth every freaking thing in there. I don't think there's anything more important than staging to sell a house, to be honest.
From your lips to...
As important as a real estate agent is, in my opinion, staging is just as important. And again, the clients that want to try and sit there and say, oh, we don't have the money or we don't want to spend the money, listen, Compass, we'll front it, we'll find a way, we will do what we need because their value is there. Mm-hmm. You can't take that away. The numbers show it. I know we've been tracking it for the last 5 years here in Philadelphia on the Compass side of it. Unstaged houses versus staged houses. We've asked agents over the years, we'll get a random little survey. Did you stage it? Yes or no? No. What did you think it was value-wise? If you staged it, what did you think value would have been? You know, so we've been tracking it. We've been trying to figure out our numbers out of it. And again, dollar for dollar, pound for pound is by far the best investment you can do when selling a house. That's
amazing to hear. I mean, I see it every day, but it's nice to hear it from somebody that's out there every day and that, you know.
I can't tell you, if I get a seller right now and they say, and I bring up staging and they say no to me, it's almost one of those like breakable moments for me, where it's like, do I really want this listing? Mm-hmm. Because you know if they're not going to listen to that advice, mm-hmm. Are they going to listen to price? Are they going to listen to what offer to take? Are they going to listen to anything else? Because this, to me, is the most important.
Right.
So if they don't want to listen to this,
right.
where else were we gonna go?
Yeah, I mean, they're hiring you as the expert with the professional knowledge and expertise, so...
And then it's not like I come in and I stage it. I bring my expert in, and I'm like, yo, I know none of this stuff. Talk to these people, but they'll make it great.
Yeah.
They're worth every dollar. I have physically staged a client's house on my dime because I just knew that space was not gonna sell without it. Like,
Yeah.
sorry, that was my gift to you, and it sold.
Good.
And it sold above asking. It sold. We got more than we thought out of it, and I wanted to go back to it.
Told ya.
Kept my mouth shut.
Told you so.
Said we had a great time and moved on from it. But yeah, it's, as I say, staging is so critical to me. I wish we can get more people into it. I wish we can get more people talking to you before they even talk to agents, to be honest, because it would help us price the house a lot better, help us be able to see the space a lot better.
Yeah.
And again, we said pricing's everything. If it's sitting, it's due to that pricing.
Yeah.
I know I walked the house, and when I went in there, I was like, we'll say a number, 200,000. And then after somebody came in, gave some advice to the seller, they painted, they did a few little things here and there, they brought in natural staging out of it.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost, my mind went almost a $75,000 difference.
Wow.
And they put in maybe 15, 18.
Yeah. You know what's heartbreaking when, like, the seller doesn't want to stage, let's see how it goes for 30 days, and then if it's not selling, we'll drop the price and spend money. And that breaks my heart.
Yeah, so you're never going to get it. You only get one first impression.
Yeah.
And
I'm almost like, don't reduce the price, like raise the price.
yes. Well, so one of the strategies out there is to do exactly that.
To raise
you take it off the market, you do a couple, according to the feedback, do a couple quick little things that don't cost much, and then stage it and raise it.
I like that a lot better.
Doing, according to your feedback, we did X, Y, and Z. We are now reintroducing this house at this price. Hey, we put money into it, we got value out of it. We're not going to drop the price just because I put money into it.
Yeah.
No, you said it wasn't worth value, I put money into it. Now it should be at that value.
Yeah, because people will still see that, right? I mean, they'll see it was off for...
Yes. They'll see that it's been re-hit. Now, if you don't take it off long enough, you'll still get the accumulated days.
Right.
But at least it comes off the market, it's not there anymore, and then yes, when it comes reintroduced, it's another ding back on. Not brand new, but still new.
Yeah.
Because that's the fear as an agent. If 30 days go by, that button's already been clicked. You're not going back to click it again. Mm-hmm. You've already looked at it. You've already maybe even visited an open house.
Yeah.
You know, what is it, Zillow's blue, so it's light blue after you click on it. To me, that light blue is the light blue of death.
Right. Nope, saw that one.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And keep scrolling. Next one.
Yeah.
So it's, staging, as I said. It brings all the value in there. It helps people envision it. It helps. I've had sellers come back and be like, I want to live in this space. So that's why I asked, like, do you help people after they buy it? Because sellers do. You know, they come in and be like, I never imagined it could look this good. I'm like, because you lived here.
Right. But you can. I mean, you really, it's not going to look like a photograph at every single moment of life, but like, if you set your home up well from the beginning, just like the strategies I was talking about for, like, you know, the quick exit, like, you can definitely put things in place that'll make it easier to live in a home that you love to walk into.
Wow.
And that's fun to, like, work with people on stuff like that, because you, like, really have to kind of get in their head and, like, understand their lifestyle. And
do you ever go to random open houses that you've staged?
Do you know, I've never done that. No, I don't know why I've never done that.
That's the most like, feedback that you get during the open houses. Is everybody always talks about the staging.
I don't know why. That's like totally something that seems like I would do, but
see,
I don't.
I would so eat a trip, especially if I like had multiple houses around me on Saturday and I'd be like, I got my coffee and I'm gonna go house looking. Ooh, that house, good notes, bad notes. I would so ego trip on that one. I staged a semi, like half of a house for a client, a bedroom, an office, bathroom, and that's like all I listened to during the open house. I was asking people, like, what do you think of the stage? I do like the little kids' room up there. Because I just wanted to eat. My wife said I couldn't do it. I wanted the 1 extra or 2 extra spaces to be staged.
Oh my god.
I brought in my putting mat into spaces just because I wanted to like putt during the open house. It's a great, it's like 10 feet long. I mean, it takes up a good amount of space now.
Oh my god.
Kids get to play with it, adults play with it. So yeah, more interactive staging. That's what we need.
Yeah, we need like pool tables.
Keep up with all that stuff.
Yeah.
Video games, you get like
maybe we could get like a prop console or something.
No prop. We wanted that.
A real one.
Yeah, I need Miss Pac-Man in the next staging. You know?
Okay.
So the kids can just be off to that side. I can talk to the parents.
We'll work on that.
Yeah. I know. Awesome. I'm going to wrap you up because we are getting about an hour now, and I don't want to take up your whole day.
Oh, this was such a pleasure. Nobody ever wants to listen to me talk about staging.
Hey, listen, I still got a couple more questions for you. I need to know how you decompress after 150 houses per time going on. So yeah, any given day, how do you decompress out of it?
So I have actually gotten into this practice over like the past year or so. I wake up insanely early, like not with an alarm clock. I just wake up at like 4 a.m. sometimes. I shouldn't tell anybody this, but and I love to just like lay in bed, drink coffee, and I write like in a journal, and it doesn't even need to be coherent or make sense. There's a book called The Artist's Way, and one of the exercises in there, it's called Morning Pages. So I got in this habit of it, and I do it every single morning, and it like totally clears my head. So I usually start working really early. I have an easier time doing administrative stuff not during the workday because I don't feel like I'm supposed to be doing something else.
Absolutely.
So that is really, truly like a gift to me. Like every morning, I love that. And then, at the end of the day, I've kind of tried to get in this habit of turning my phone off sometimes, like legitimately off, not just silent, but like turn it off, leave the house, like go for a walk. And it's amazing how attached to it you can be, but how easy you can forget it exists when you just pull the plug.
I gotta give you a lot of credit. You walked in here today, and first thing you said to me was, "I did not bring my cell phone."
I did. I left it in the car because I knew that if I was sitting here hearing it buzzing, I'd be like, "Oh my god!" And
That's so cool. We are so attached to cell phones.
Yeah.
That, as you just said, you get the anxiety where you lose it all of a sudden.
Oh my god! I spend 3/4 of the day looking for the phone in the last room that I left it, up and down the steps and all over. But
and then when you have it, you constantly are just checking. Did I miss something? The things we've trained ourselves to constantly go.
Yes.
That was the email thing. Ooh, that was a. So yeah, the cell phones. That's awesome.
Yeah.
The fact that you can literally just push it away.
It's made a huge difference. Like it does actually, like when I started doing it, creates anxiety because you're like, what am I going to miss? But like, perspective, like what are you going to miss that can't be dealt with an hour later?
Yeah, 100%. I read a book called Be Where Your Feet Are, and that's one of the biggest things about it is quite literally just being present to whatever you're doing, and these things take away that ability to be present.
Yes.
Talk to the person you're being present with.
Yes.
Have dinner with the person you're talking to.
Yes.
Eat the meal that you actually have in front of you rather than taking pictures of it, rather than posting it and then complaining that it's cold because you didn't get to it in time.
100%.
That was a big eye opener to me, especially with 2 boys, 2 little boys, and it just made me realize how much I am not present with them.
Yeah, it's easy to miss things when you're busy taking pictures of them. You're totally right.
Or just answering an email. Hey guys, give me 5 more minutes. I got to answer this email real quick. 7 minutes go by, 10 minutes go by, because now you're in 2 emails, now you're in 3. Next thing you know, 30 minutes go by, and you're supposed to be hanging out with your kids, and you're working again.
100%. Like there's that list of things that you would love to be doing if you weren't doing this, and it's like, well, the whole reason you're doing this is to be able to do those things. do them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We, as a society, we've got it so backwards that we have to work
Yes.
so that we can play.
Right.
We gotta play to work.
100%.
I'm sorry. To me, we're losing the childish innards. We're forgetting what fun is. We're forgetting to have fun. We're forgetting to laugh, and everything is becoming just business.
Yes.
So anytime, in my opinion, that you can put this thing off to the side, just forget about it. And a daily time. Hey, 10 o'clock comes around. Done. 10 p.m., I'm not looking at my cell phone ever afterwards.
Yeah.
7 a.m., I'm not looking at it before. Whatever it is, dinner time, that 2 hours.
Yeah. And it is a practice. Like, the first time you do it, it's not going to be easy. And, like, you know, eventually you probably will miss something that's important. And, like, life goes on. But, you know, if you kind of train yourselves to do those things that are good for you,
so much happier.
It's like preventative self-care. Like, we shouldn't have to spend our nights recovering from our day.
Exactly.
We should just do things throughout our day that are good for us.
Yeah. And that morning routine, I can't tell you from how many books I've read that is such a key thing in overall life. If it's journaling, if it's meditating, if it's reading, if just getting up early and starting your day before anybody else, you have a 4-hour head start on most people.
I'm usually asleep by like 7 o'clock.
Doesn't matter though, because what are most people doing at 7 o'clock?
Right. Watching TV.
Netflix,
yeah.
Watching their cell phones, doing something mindless. Where, hey, if you're in bed by 7 o'clock and you're up the next morning and you got 4 hours beat on everybody, you're sitting there productive and everybody else is like, I gotta get this day started. It's a terrible day. It's horrible. I've already gotten my coffee spilled on me. And you're like, shit.
I spilled my coffee 10 hours ago.
Yeah. I finished my coffee. I'm on freaking lunch over here. What are you talking about? Coffee.
Yeah.
This guy. So yeah, no, that morning routine, Sky Michaels here at Compass is a big pusher of that morning routine.
Yeah.
Small habits become big things.
Totally. Yeah.
And yeah, you just build little habits around it. And having no technology for that several hours is so great for your brain. I can't even express the joys that your brain is sitting there saying, like, thank you for.
Yes. Yeah, it feels really good.
It does. I just read something of an article with a study that we never have downtime anymore as an American society with cell phones. We used to wait for a bus, wait for a train, wait for a plane, wait for a cab, wait for something. That was downtime. Your brain literally got to decompress.
Yeah.
Now, if we're waiting, we're on our cell phone, we're answering the email, we're texting, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on something.
I've come to realize that even downtime, like if I take like a 10-minute time out during the day, sit down, what am I doing? I'm like playing a game on my phone or just scrolling or who even knows? And like, you're right, that's not downtime.
Not downtime for us.
Yeah.
So you taking that morning, setting up your whole body for the day is awesome. I wish more people would do it. I wish our society would base around it. Our bodies work a lot better with it. You stay hydrated easier out of it.
Yeah.
You consume calories better out of it. You don't get as hungry through the day. I don't know. There's just so many perks with waking up early.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you.
I love it. Any books that you read?
So also for about the past year, I've been reading this book, or I've been with this book. I guess I read it and reread it and reread it and reread it. It's called The Yamas and Niyamas by Deborah Adele. It is basically the ethical principles of yoga. It's not exercise, it's not stretching, it's not postures, it's the mental aspect of it. And it has, my friends are like, I think you're starting a cult. Like, it is the greatest thing I've ever read, and I think everybody, like, they should have children read it in school. It was actually on the yoga teacher training reading list, which I did not go through, but was contemplating, and I'm like, let me look at the reading list and, you know, see what's on there, and it's just fascinating. So, you know, it talks about all of the different aspects of the principles of yoga, and then in the end of each chapter there's reflection questions. So I mean, like, I dove deep. I've been like one question and then like ponder it for a week, and like,
good for you.
It's insane how, I mean, because you could think about the same question and then 6 months later come back and it like has a completely different meaning, you know? Really interesting stuff. I think it's really changed my perspective in a lot of great ways, you know, with the presence and the focus and putting positive practices in place, and also just like gratitude, humility, like understanding our place in the entire world and that we are not the centers of it. You know, there's a lot out there to think about that I think if everybody was, you know, took a moment maybe to get more in touch with their divine self as opposed to their ego nature, we would generate a lot of good.
Yeah, it's amazing how much being kind to one person per day can really be a difference. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Literally just takes a smile, a wave, a hello.
Yes.
How's your day?
Yeah.
Simple little things to a complete stranger.
It's not even hard. It's just
don't do it.
Yeah. You ever like ride an elevator with somebody and like everybody's just trying to avoid eye contact?
Yes.
Like it's uncomfortable. Like, hi.
Elevators used to be fun. We used to have elevator pitches.
Yeah.
Like that used to be a thing. Like you talked in an elevator.
Yeah.
And now everybody stares at their feet.
Yeah, even like
What
you go
floor?
into a store
True.
and like the cashier, like how can you be face to face with somebody and not say hi? It's bizarre.
I did 16 years in the restaurant industry, so yeah, I don't get it anymore.
I know.
It's not the same, and I know I'm sounding old, I'm sounding sorry millennials and Z's and X's and Y's and whatever. But yeah, it's not the same interactions.
No, this is about to become like a whole new podcast, but like I think because of social media and like this world that's like constantly forcing everybody to define themselves and stand out, we have a tendency to do that where like maybe we'd all be better off if we looked for what is the same in all of us and
we all have stress.
and went with that.
We all
you know?
just need a hug and we all just need a high five sometimes.
Yeah.
You're 100% right. Any last design trends that you're seeing that you want to throw out there? Colors, textures, anything?
Well, there's that boucle thing going on
Okay.
that we can't take a very big part of because like white furniture and staging do not get along. but you'll see it pop up here and there in like some of the smaller pieces. But
the ottomans, that's why they're the little white ones.
Yeah, the ottomans.
All
yes,
right.
things that can easily be protected.
Yeah.
But that we're seeing some of the new tile trends. Like it's interesting how you can walk into like 10 houses in like the span of a month and you're like, I never saw that tile before in a bathroom. And then you're like, oh wait, there it is again and again and again and again. But I'm seeing a lot of this like blue, like really deep, bold blue, which is like, that's different from over the last couple of years. Like what it was before for a while was that sort of like Moroccan black and white pattern. Looks like we're going a whole new direction with that. And bright colors. Like we always used to incorporate a decent amount of color into staging, and then we went through this period where like no color, everything neutral, like white, cream, gray, neutral, like texture, pattern, like, you know, that kind of stuff, which is kind of fun. But now it seems like people want color again, you know? I mean, not like rainbow bright, but like a pop of yellow or like a bold blue or even like hot pink, like anything. I think that those 80s colors are coming back a little bit too.
Cabinets and floors?
Cabinets and floors. Builders tell me they can never go wrong with white cabinets, and white cabinets sell kitchens. It's always safe. I'm seeing a lot of the, you know, different color cabinetry thrown in, like the blues, the greens. I don't know. I think if it were my kitchen, it seems fun. It seems like I might get tired of it. relatively
with the cabinets and the
easy.
floors. I want the hardwoods or the whites.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. I mean, I feel like there's so many other things that you can do that aren't so permanent to bring in
Handles.
the color. The handles,
Yep.
the light fixtures,
Yep.
the dish towel, like whatever it is. But
Something
yeah,
I'm not touching for 15 years, I want it traditional.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's me out of it.
yeah,
If I can revamp it every 3 to 5 years, like a bathroom, all the
Yeah.
trends, whatever, a bathroom's not that bad to rip down tile and put up a new trend.
yeah.
Not the
Even
end of
like
the
a
world.
backsplash
Yeah.
probably isn't the end of the world to like rip out after a
But
couple
cabinets and
years.
floors, I'm a big hardwood, original dark. Give me that nice hardwood floor.
Oh, I love it. Like the old thick plank wood.
Yes.
Yes.
And same kind of thing with cabinets. But I can go the white because, yes, white is timeless.
Yeah.
But I do like the wood. I like that wood look. And again, I can bring the colors in, especially with those golds coming in.
100%. And the dark wood cabinetry does look really nice with gold.
Yeah. And then nowadays, I love the fact that, like, all right, I got great cabinets, right? But my doors are kind of beat up. I can go get new doors.
Yes.
And they can be off-colored from that one. They can be dark
Yes.
wood with a white door or a gray door. Like, you can do different things now. Where in Bachelor, like, I couldn't. That's in this brand cabinet, and they
Right.
don't make doors for that brand cabinet.
Yeah.
And now it's like free for all.
You can do whatever you want. Yep, it's all
you
there.
need a good base, and from that base, you can accessorize.
Yeah.
Awesome. I know I said we were wrapping up, but I kept getting on talking. How can we get a hold of you?
So you can call me. Again, my name is Ali Kutner. It's Kutner. My number you can call or text 267-207-9298. My email address is akutner@sunflowercreationsonline.com. It's a long one.
It'll all be up there, don't worry.
Yeah, our website is sunflowercreationsonline.com. And you can also find us on Instagram at SFC_staging. And smoke signals, any other creative communications.
We'll get you out there one
Yeah.
way or another. And all that will be in our notes. Any final quotes that you live by?
I'm like a self-help junkie, as I guess I've already told you, so there's a million of them. I guess one that feels applicable today would be, can I get it right? Try everything, regret nothing, learn from everything.
I love it. That's awesome. Ali, you've been an absolute pleasure. I'm sorry I took up so much of your
Thank you. No, my gosh, we could go on all day. It's been so much fun.
That one because it was a lot of fun.
Oh, thank you.
But unfortunately, that is the end of this episode of the Atomic Real Estate Show. There will be more actionable, atom-sized bits of advice that will be free for the taking in our next episode, so be sure to tune in. Thank you again for our listeners, and thank you so much to Ali for all of your generous time and all of your generous insight. This has been absolutely a pleasure of mine.
Thank you. This was my pleasure too.
This has been a Direct Subs production. Check them out at directsubs.com. I look forward to hearing from all of you in our comments, and please remember to like, share, follow, and subscribe wherever you choose to listen to the Atomic Real Estate Show. Can we be 1% better today, everybody? Thank you.
If you enjoyed our episode, please consider supporting the show by rating and reviewing the podcast. Also, check us out on Instagram at Atomic Real Estate Show to find out when new shows drop and to participate in our community Q&As. The Atomic Real Estate Show was brought to you by Direct Subs. Direct Subs is the #1 place for real estate investors to connect with local contractors for their flips, rentals, renovations, and new construction projects.